These F1 drivers are nothing but mischievous, and unfortunately, the most common victims of their hilarious chaos are their fellow celebrities.
What are you doing? No, please don't. Oh my God. You're such a...
From Gigi to Johnny Herbert, here are 10 times F1 drivers drove celebrities crazy. 1. Lewis Hamilton versus Gigi Hadid. When Lewis Hamilton teamed up with Gigi Hadid for a high-profile campaign, no one imagined that the calm and elegance of the runway would soon give way to chaos on the track. The plan had been for Hamilton to drive and gently surprise Gigi with the speed of a Formula One car, but the model had other ideas. She insisted on taking the first turn behind the wheel. The crew laughed, thinking it would be harmless fun. As soon as she pressed the pedal, the smile on Hamilton's face shifted. The supermodel was fearless, maybe a little too fearless, as the car jolted forward. Hamilton reached for the handbrake once or twice, trying to steady the motion while the team burst out laughing from the sidelines. When they finally switched seats, the tables turned. Hamilton unleashed the kind of acceleration that makes even professional stunt drivers hold their breath. Gigi went from bold and brave to wide-eyed and speechless. By the end, they were both laughing uncontrollably. 2. Daniel Ricciardo v. Alison Hammond. A few moments on television have captured pure fear and laughter, like the day Alison Hammond joined Daniel Ricciardo for a track session on the British morning show This Morning. Ricciardo, known for his constant grin and playful personality, promised to take it easy, but anyone who knows Daniel knows that his version of easy still involves neck-snapping speed. Alison started the day confident, chatting and laughing as she climbed into the car. But the second the tires screeched and the car launched forward, her laughter turned into nervous squeals. Ricciardo darted through corners with effortless precision. Every twist and turn left Alison gripping the seat harder. By the time they stopped, her nerves had given way to exhilaration. She described the experience as the most frightening yet thrilling moment of her life. Even Ricciardo could not help but laugh as he watched her try to regain her breath. It was the perfect blend of fear, fun, and the kind of energy only Daniel Ricciardo can bring to a racetrack. 3. George Russell via Felix. For Ed Sheeran, taking a ride with George Russell felt like the kind of thrill that would make for the perfect break from music and touring. He imagined a smooth and exciting drive, something fast enough to make his heart race, but not enough to make him lose control. What he did not realize was that Russell had something far more intense planned for him. The moment Ed approached the car, his excitement was written all over his face. His hands trembled slightly as he took in the sleek lines of the machine waiting for him. Russell, calm and composed, helped him secure the harness and offered a reassuring nod before starting the engine. Then, with a sudden burst, they were off. The world around them dissolved into streaks of color as the car devoured the track with impossible speed. He wanted to speak, maybe to shout, but the force of acceleration pressed him back into his seat. When they finally stopped, Ed sat frozen for a moment before breaking into laughter that filled the quiet air. 4. Daniel Ricciardo v. Red Bull. Red Bull had planned a media day that was supposed to be light-hearted and fun. The idea was simple: let journalists experience what Formula One drivers feel every race weekend. When reporter Lisa Goss arrived, she looked calm, confident, and ready for anything. That calm disappeared the moment she saw Daniel Ricciardo waiting beside the car. Ricciardo greeted her warmly, cracked a few jokes, and promised to take it easy. Once the seatbelts were locked in, the world changed. The car roared to life, and the force pinned Lisa to her seat. She tried to smile, but her expression quickly shifted from excitement to raw fear. When the lap ended, she stumbled out of the car, trembling but beaming. The fear had turned into admiration. She later said that no video could ever explain what it felt like to trust someone completely while traveling at such speed. Ricciardo had converted another passenger into a believer in the thrill of Formula One. 5. Lewis Hamilton versus Johnny Herbert. Johnny Herbert thought he had seen everything Formula One could offer. As a retired driver and commentator, he had been there, done that. But when Lewis Hamilton invited him for a joyride, he realized that the thrill never truly leaves. The pair joked like old friends as they prepared, but once Hamilton pressed the pedal, the laughter quickly turned into stunned silence. The car sliced through corners like a blade through the air, and even Herbert, who had faced countless laps in his career, was left gripping the seat. Hamilton narrated imaginary race scenarios as they sped down the straight, pretending they were battling old rivals. The nostalgia hit hard. For Herbert, every second reminded him of the intensity and precision of the sport he once lived for. When they finally stopped, both men were laughing again, out of breath and exhilarated. Herbert admitted that he had almost forgotten how beautiful the chaos of racing could be. 6. George Russell v. Will Buxton. Will Buxton, one of Formula One's most energetic reporters, once thought it would be a great idea to interview George Russell during a live high-speed lap. The idea sounded clever until the car started moving. Within seconds, Buxton realized he was in for much more than a chat. Russell, ever the calm professional, answered each question with ease while throwing the car into precise corners that left the reporter gasping. The faster they went, the more chaotic the interview became. Questions about hobbies, favorite food, and future goals were asked, between bursts of laughter and uncontrollable reactions. The camera captured it all, Buxton trying to stay composed while Russell grinned and accelerated. By the time they reached the finish line, the journalist could barely speak. The lap had become a battle between words and wind had won. Even after the ride ended, Buxton admitted that he finally understood what true control and trust looked like. 7. Lewis Hamilton v. Frank Williams. Some moments go beyond sport, and one of those came when Lewis Hamilton took Sir Frank Williams for what would become his last ride around the track. Frank, confined to a wheelchair after a life-changing accident, had built one of Formula One's greatest teams from pure determination. When Hamilton guided him to the car, the energy in the air shifted. As they set off, Frank's face lit up like that of a child rediscovering a forgotten joy. The sound of the engine, the smell of fuel, the vibrations through the seat, everything felt alive again. When they returned to the pit lane, Frank's smile said more than words ever could. It was a farewell disguised as a celebration, a reminder that even when time takes the body, it can never take passion. 2 years later, Frank Williams passed away, but that single lap remains etched in Formula One history as one of its most human moments, a beautiful intersection of respect, memory, and motion. 8. Lewis v. Bono. The bond between a driver and his race engineer runs deeper than most people realize. After years of victories together, Hamilton decided to give his engineer Bono one last unforgettable experience before leaving Mercedes. This time, Bono was not on the radio, he was in the passenger seat. As the car launched forward, Bono's attempt at staying calm faded instantly. The rush of air, the vibration of the car, and the raw speed hit harder than he had imagined. Hamilton teased him as they tore through corners, knowing every flick of the steering wheel would draw another nervous laugh. When the lap ended, they sat in silence for a moment, letting the adrenaline settle. It was more than a joyride. It was a tribute to their shared journey, the countless hours of teamwork, strategy, and trust. For Hamilton, it marked the end of an era. For Bono, it was a memory that summed up everything they had built together: pure speed, mutual respect, and friendship forged under pressure. 9. Lando Norris v. Alex Jakes. When sports commentator Alex Jakes agreed to narrate a live lap with Lando Norris behind the wheel, he underestimated the challenge. The idea was for him to describe the experience in real time. At first, he handled it well, speaking confidently as the car moved off the line. But that composure lasted only seconds. As Lando increased the speed, the commentator's voice began to tremble. The G-force pushed him into the seat while Norris handled the wheel effortlessly. Somehow, Alex managed to keep talking, mixing observation with panic as the car drifted around corners at frightening speed. When they finally stopped, He was pale but laughing. His commentary equipment still clutched tightly in his hands. Lando found it amusing, impressed that Alex had managed to speak at all. The clip went viral, not just because of the speed, but because of the courage it took to stay focused while being thrown around by one of the sport's most talented young drivers. 10. James Corden versus Hamilton. When talk show host James Corden joined Lewis Hamilton for a challenge, the idea sounded harmless, an interview during a single lap around the track. What he did not expect was how quickly a chat would turn into a full-blown roller coaster. At first, Corden fired off questions with his usual humor, but as the car gained speed, the laughter turned into disbelief. The corners came faster than he could finish his sentences, and every sharp turn sent him clutching the seat. Hamilton remained calm, answering casually while controlling the car with surgical precision. By the time they finished, Corden was a mix of shock and amusement, struggling to find his balance once the car stopped. The laughter that followed was genuine and uncontrollable. It became one of the most memorable television moments involving a Formula One driver, a perfect combination of comedy, chaos, and speed that showed exactly why Lewis Hamilton remains untouchable on and off the track. And that's all on our list for today. Thank you for watching to the end. Which of these moments did you find hilarious? Tell us in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye for now.